Well, hello everyone. Welcome to the Kratom Gals. Before we dive in, I want to give a quick shout out to our vendor of the month, Happy Hippo. Their support helps make conversations like this possible. If you're looking for premium, lab tested Kratom with fast shipping and a 100% happiness guarantee, I love that. They're a trusted name in the space. So, big thanks to Happy Hippo for supporting education and advocacy in the Kratom community. We really love that here. We're all about spreading the word with advocacy and education. So be sure to check them out and all the other great companies right now. They're doing big Black Friday sales. You can go check it out on my website, kratomstoriespodcast.com/vendors. And I'll probably talk about that more later. So it is time for the Kratom Gals. This is your weekly dose of real talk, real stories, and a lot of relentless advocacy. Each week we dive into the latest Kratom headlines, we react to videos, and we call out the misinformation with facts and passion. This isn't just a show. This is a movement to protect the plant that we love called Kratom, natural Kratom. I'm Madeline Sklar, host of this live stream series. We're coming up on 2 years next month. I can't believe it. And in addition to this live stream, I also host the Kratom Stories podcast, also going to be 2 years old next month, and the Kratom Real Talk community over on School, also 2 years next month. I don't know why I did everything at once, but that's very me to do. I've been a daily consumer of Kratom for 6.5 years. I've taken it every day since I started using it for my chronic pain instead of pain management. And it's just been amazing for my day-to-day life. And that's why I shout it from the rooftops. That's why I advocate so much. And I'm not hired to do this. I do this because I want to. And it's important to me to spend my time, available time, helping people understand more about this plant. So also be sure to catch the latest episodes of our Kratom Stories podcast. We have a brand new one. We're going to watch a clip of it in just a moment with Amanda Rayner, who happens to be here today as our special guest. If you are not subscribed to our YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button. That way you won't ever miss an episode. We have new episodes out each week, plus all kinds of other videos, live stream here, other like YouTube shorts. And just a reminder, this live stream is for educational purposes only. We're not giving out medical advice here. We're here to share our personal experience and advocate for responsible Kratom use. So when you hear us talking about things, we're talking about personal experience. Please keep that in mind. All right, let's bring up the gals. Hello, gals. How are y'all today? Good to see you.
Hey.
Hey. Doing good. How are you? It's nice to be here after Thanksgiving. I hope everybody had a nice Thanksgiving.
Yeah. I can't believe it's holiday time. It got here so fast.
This year's flown by.
It really has. And what an advocacy year it's been. There's been so much going on around the country with hearings. It's been nonstop.
It's been nonstop since January. I haven't stopped.
Exhausting. But yeah, we're here to fight for our tea leaf.
We sure are. Amanda, it's great having you back with us again. We loved having you here a few weeks ago.
Yes, I loved it. Thanks for having me back. Having me back is fun. I love being on here. I had a lot of people, like family and everything, watch yesterday and friends. So it really kind of meant a lot that, people kind of got to know me a little bit more than what they already do, what I live with on a daily basis. Most people don't know that just by looking at me. So they kind of got an insight to it.
Yeah, I love that. That's why I love doing this podcast, because it's a great way to learn more about all of us in the community and our stories. When I first launched the podcast 2 years ago, I didn't really talk a lot about my pain issues. There was so much stigma, and I didn't want to go around telling friends and family like, oh, let me go take my Percocet, let me go take my Oxycontin now. That's the pill I'm popping at the moment. There was just so much stigma, but once I became a Kratom consumer and wanted to start advocating, it's like, I'm going to shout this from the rooftops. I want people to know. And I'm going to tell people, go check out my story, go learn more about, because most people that knew me, from back in those days had no idea what I went through and all the narcotics I took to just try to live a normal life, and then discovering this plant. So, some people are like, wow, I had no idea this. And I think it's just a great thing to get our story out there. I know not everybody can. Some people need to be anonymous. I get it. I have workarounds for that though, for people that still want to get their story out. But I love that y'all come on here and talk about your experience. Y'all have all been on the podcast. I just love y'all.
Well, we love you.
Y'all are Great.
And I just appreciate you giving us that platform. And I mean, it took me a year. I was so terrified giving my story. And I like that everybody's story is different and they all add like a different, I like to say, a different link to the chain of advocacy. You know what I mean? We all add something to it. So I love hearing them all.
That's so true. That's a great way of putting it.
Yeah. Well, I'm so glad y'all are here, and Amanda, it's great having you back to come hang out with us and share more of your thoughts and insights. We really enjoyed it last time. Oh, and quick shout out to Twinkle, who is not able to join us today, but she's in the chat, so good to see her. So, Amanda, why don't you tell everybody a little bit about you in case some people are watching this and are going, "Who? I've never seen Amanda."
Yeah,
And
definitely. Okay.
maybe they missed you last time. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm Amanda. I was put on pain medicine at the early age of 9. That started with my migraines. Throughout the years, I started living with a long list of painful conditions, 10 out of 20 of them to live with. Trigeminal neuralgia being one of them. I also suffer from degenerative and cervical disc disease, herniated bulging disc on the spine, which is now developed into scoliosis as an adult. Arthritis, tendonitis, all of the itises. I live with a lot of pain. I was on pain meds for 30 years. Found Kr8tom 8.5 years ago. I also utilized 7-OH. I found that the end of 2023. I use that very sparingly, but I do advocate for it because it does work for many. And I've been here in this community. I work for a vendor, and I advocate. I'm a loud advocate. I fight for myself as well as fighting for every single one of us, that consume this plant for whatever reason that they need it. That's why I'm here.
I love that. I like to hear from the other gals. Why do y'all like to advocate, Becca? Like, why do you like advocating?
Well, I've been a consumer since 2013 after a horrible surgery, and I just finally had it with the mistreatment, honestly, like just long story short. And I started looking into herbs, and I was so lucky to stumble upon Kr8tom, and it's just been so great for me. It's been so great for my life. And when I saw what it was doing for so many people, like it just egged me on, gave me more, more motivation to not only help in the community working for various vendors back in the day, but one in particular now, but to also help those in the community and, help with advocacy and stuff as well.
Love that. What about you, Venus?
Well, for me, I was so close to just ending it, not wanting to be here anymore. And finding it just gave me a whole new life that I never thought I would have or be doing. I never thought I'd be doing this. And I wasn't able to fight for anything because I was in bed. I didn't even have cable, so I had no clue what was going on in the world a lot of the times. So to be able to find a plant that makes it so I can do that, and I'm lucid, and I want everybody to have that chance, and the sooner they can get that chance, the sooner they can get back on their feet and get their new life back too. So I just want to tell everybody, just like everybody here.
That's so great. It's amazing how many of us feel like we got our life back, especially those of us that come from the chronic pain community and just spending years and years, dealing with doctors, pharmacies, stigma, everything. Yeah. I just feel so much more free since starting Kr8tom in 2019. It's been amazing.
It was a full-time job going to the doctors.
I used to tell people, to tell everybody when I was in pain management, anybody that I didn't tell that, but those that I did tell, I said, it's a part-time job. For me, it was a part-time job. I had a good doctor, but he was pretty far. But it was worth it for me to go all the way over to him because we got along great. He listened to me because I kept building tolerance with the opiates. We're constantly rotating them, and he cared. And I was really lucky. I don't blame him for losing access. It was because of the government policies, and he got scared. I can totally understand. He was young too. So, you've got this future ahead of you, and you got to worry about pain doctors going to prison, which was a real thing. So I totally understood. I didn't like the way they did it with a form letter in the mail. But to just not be in that world anymore, it was so depressing. And it was hard to get the pharmaceuticals. So it worked better if you went to like the little specialized pharmacies, those small ones. And because this doctor was way out, there was a pharmacy that they worked with right over there, and you never had issues when you went to that pharmacy, unlike big box that I constantly had issues with. And it's like, but you'd sit there for like an hour or more just waiting for them to fill it. It was too far for me to leave and come back. So by the time I did all that, it's like the day's gone and I'd be exhausted. And all of this just so I can have medications so I'm not suffering. I can work and do things because I was determined to just keep living life.
Oh, yeah, no, I remember. I mean, anytime like I would leave a doctor's appointment and they're like, okay, well, let's, book you again for however long. And it's like, oh, does 8 o'clock in the morning work for you? Nope, absolutely not. My body's not moving at that. Like anything after 11, and even then that was tough, because some days just showering to get ready, that's all I could do. That it would just wipe me out and I'd be done. I'd cancel my appointment. I mean, thankfully, I have had my doctor now, I think 20, 21 years, something like that. I've been with him. So he has seen me in the pits of my pain. He has seen my pain progress and things progress, but he's also seen the change in the last, decade here with botanicals. And he's just like, this is working for you. Great. He helped me taper off my blood pressure medicine, all my pain, everything that I was taking that I'm not taking anymore. He helped me taper off. I can't tell you to keep taking it, but this is working for you. And this is fantastic. And he apologized because he goes, I can't properly treat you as your doctor. There's nothing that I can give you that's going to continue to help because we've tried everything.
Yeah. It's great when you have a doctor that listens.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah, it really is. Yeah.
And that you've had for that long. I had my therapist for 25 years now. So she saw me from the beginning. She saw me at my worst when I was ready to give up. And so she's seen the progress that I've made and how well I'm doing. So she's behind me all the way.
Yeah, my therapist has been there almost about 8 years now, and she's seen a drastic change, and she's very holistic as well. So that's, my thing. I walked in there, I'm like, if you're going to hand me pain meds, this appointment is over. And that's literally the first thing I said to her. And she goes, oh no, I'm not for meds. If you don't absolutely need them, I'm not for them.
Right.
Sat down, and I absolutely love my therapist.
Yeah, and that's why I picked my therapist because she couldn't prescribe medication.
Mm-hmm.
So as far as I know, but so to me, I felt like that was a safe place because she wasn't treating me to get me on any specific medication. She was treating me to fix me, to help me.
Exactly.
Awesome. Well, let's play some videos. I think we'll kick it off with some clips of our new podcast episode with Amanda, which came out great. And it was such a great interview, Amanda. I really enjoyed that. And it was long, a little over an hour long, but like it just felt like there was just so much to talk about.
Yeah.
And you were just so great at explaining everything. So I really enjoyed that. Plus I was super excited because I was using new editing software.
Yeah, that was fun.
I was so excited because, I don't think people really understand, like, first of all, I'm a perfectionist. That's a big problem of mine. And I like having the podcast, like, switch back and forth between the two people. And the software I was using, you have to do it manually. And it was so much work. And I did it a few times. I'm like, oh my, that just takes like all day. I just can't. It's just not enough hours in the day. And so there's some software I wanted, and I'm like, finally just did it. And I'm like, oh my God, this is so much better.
Yeah.
I still tweak it, of course, because that's very me to do, but it did most of the work. And I loved how it just went back and forth with us.
Oh, I loved how it came out. It was really cool. It was really cool. I had a lot of people say, a friend of mine, my best friend, she's like, oh, it kept switching back. She goes, I really like that because she goes, it makes it more personal.
It does.
Yeah.
It really does. And it really pained me to have to, a lot of the previous episodes, just have a side by side the whole time. But it's so time consuming to do that manually. I like doing all that, but there's just not enough hours in the day. So I was so excited when it came out. I was like, this looks really good and professional. So we're leveling up 2 years in, we're like leveling up. I'm excited. But I'm going to play some clips from your episode, Amanda. It was so good. This is episode 85. I'm blown away that we have 85 episodes of the Kratom Stories podcast. For anybody new to us, just go to kratomstoriespodcast.com to go check it out. It's available to watch here on YouTube. You can go listen on Apple, Spotify, iHeart Radio, Amazon. It's like on all the major ones. So yeah, let's watch a clip here.
It's pain management for the rest of your life. You're not getting the pain meds that are supposed to help, and they honestly didn't. I don't know if my body just got used to them. I'd been on them for 30 years. I wasn't getting relief. It was miserable. I felt awful mentally, physically. And now I'm like, I feel like a new me. I feel like I have myself back. Do I have bad days? Absolutely. Am I in pain 24/7? Absolutely. But this is manageable for me now. I can live my life. I can go to a concert. I can, go out and dance. Am I going to pay for it the next day? You betcha. But I wouldn't have been able to go do that. And for me, that's good for my mental health, and my therapist too. She's just like, I've seen such a transformation in you in the last 10 years. And, she's like, I can't tell you to take what you're taking, but keep doing what's working for you, because it's fantastic to see this part of you.
I love that. That's so great getting that kind of support.
I get emotional over here, watching it back. And I'm like, wow, seeing my life 10 years ago to seeing where it is now. It's amazing. It's amazing.
Yeah. You have such a great story, and it's just nothing better than having medical professionals on your side with this. My primary care physician, I told her from the start when I started going to her about 4 years ago, I think it was, and I told her about Kratom. I was getting more and more comfortable talking about it with medical professionals, and she didn't know anything about it. And I helped educate her a bit and told her, some websites to go to, and told her I have a podcast. And every time I go see her, which is at least once a year, sometimes twice a year for checkups, she's so impressed. And I make a point to remind her, by the way, I still take my Kratom, which is just a tea, a powder instead of opiates. And my chart shows all my years of opiates from when I was in pain management. And she is just so impressed. And every time she says the same thing to me, keep doing what you're doing, because I can see it's work and it's helping you. And I think just by how we present ourselves, it becomes very obvious to the medical professionals that we're not loopy, we're not high, we're living our best life. And that's so important.
Yep, I completely agree. And I've actually told mine that I probably have to sign information if she finds she wants to give my information to somebody. But I said, if you need anybody, if there's anybody that you think needs this information, I would definitely give my name out for something like that. So.
Yeah. I always tell anybody in the medical profession, I always tell them to go to kratomanswers.org, which is that website by the AKA that has all that science information. I always feel like that's something I think medical people would want to read and learn more with the plant. So I find that really helpful. All right, I'm going to play another clip from the episode.
First dose, it was May 5th. It was Cinco de Mayo. And that was 8.5 years ago. I've not looked back. I was able to go, I think it was 2.5, 3 weeks after, I was able to go to my son's high school graduation, sit on those hard bleachers that there's no way I wouldn't have been able to sit there for 10 minutes without, wiggling around and moving and getting up. And I sat there for the whole 3.5 hours of his high school graduation. 4 years later, did it for his college graduation. And I wouldn't have been able to do it if I was stuck on pain meds. I have my life back because of Kratom. I'm 100 pounds lighter now. I'm able to get out of bed and, do simple things like shower or go to the grocery store, where I couldn't do that before. I had my ex who was doing my shopping. We were together at the time, but he was doing all the shopping, and it took me a good whole week to clean my house. And by the time that week was up, then I had to start again. So switching to Kratom versus the pain pills has been a life changer. I've not had to take over 50,000 pills, and I've honestly stopped counting, and that's 8.5 years. So in 50,000 pills, that's money missing out of Big Pharma's pocket, I'm sure. But there's no price on me having my life back. And that I think I'm going to forever be grateful.
It's so great. For anybody that hasn't watched that episode, highly recommend watching it here on YouTube. It was really good.
Yeah. I had a lot of people, like even my family, they're just, oh, you're always in pain. You're always in pain. That's usually what they hear. And then they stop to like actually listen to some of it. They're like, oh, wow, I didn't realize you lived like this.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. And it's nice because now we can actually say yes to do things once in a while, where before I could never say yeah, or if I could say yeah, I'd have to have all this big backup plan and, in place to be able to go do anything at all. So, and I was never able to actually participate either. And now we're able to participate, make memories, and remember them,
Yeah, definitely. I mean, just the pain alone from having to go out, and then somebody living with chronic pain, just mentally preparing yourself, not only physically preparing yourself to go out, but mentally preparing yourself. A lot of the times the anxiety would take over because of stupid little comments like, oh, you're always in pain. It's like, well, why do I want to go around that? Why am I going to sit in pain and be miserable around company if this is the way I'm going to be treated? So, yeah.
Yeah, I think that had a lot to do with my agoraphobia about not wanting to leave the house. I didn't know how much pain I was going to be in. And then just to have to act straight all the time, even though these medications have these side effects where you don't, and it says that you're expected to act like, like you're okay. And it just takes so much energy to do that too. So I noticed that even after like going through anesthesia, my mom says, "Oh, you seem like you're fine." I said, "I have to. I went through that all those years where I had to be like I'm fine when I was taking medication, and this is the same thing to me." So yeah.
Oh, I get that a lot. Like, people hearing, this, my podcast that I did this interview, and they're like, wow, looking at you, you would never know. And I've had, you've got oh, you don't look disabled. And I'm just like, well, I didn't know it had a look, but okay, thanks, but like looking at my shell of a body, you wouldn't know I live with everything that I live with. I put on, I mean, that saying, fake it till you make it kind of thing. I put on a smile and I go, am I going to let my pain take over me? It does on some days. Some days I have no say, but I'm not going to let it take over everything from me anymore like it did before, because I was not only strapped to the bed because of the pain, I was strapped to the bed because of the pain meds, and the meds that I was or was not getting was not working. So
it's such a relatable conversation. I one time went to go see the surgeon back right before I started pain management, I think it was, because he got to the point where he says, nothing I can do for you, so you should just go to pain management, which was the next logical step for me. But one time I was going in to see him because I would get these flare-ups from time to time with the herniated disc that I had. And one time he looks at me and he goes, you don't look like somebody in pain. Like, he said that to my face. And I was just dumbfounded. I'm like, why do they not take us seriously? I just don't get it. I was always good at presenting myself like I was okay, because I would tell myself I'm okay. If I wasn't, how am I supposed to get out and go drive all the way over there and go see them and do all this? I live in a big city where it's kind of like LA. You drive a lot because everything is not compact. It's a very sprawled out city, and it's just how it is. And it's like, you have to get in this mindset to go do these things, right? And then to just have the doctor say that was so deflating. But it's just a reminder of how the medical professionals see us many times, where there's no compassion, no sympathy for what we go through.
You're too young for this. You're too young to have all these problems. Well, yeah, you're telling me like, hey, I live with them. So that doesn't make them just automatically go away because poof, I was like 30 when they told me that, or I was 34 when they're like, you have the back of an 80-year-old. And I'm just like, oh, okay. Like, okay, but here I am and I have this. Oh, well, we can't treat you like this because you're this. And it's like, okay, well, that doesn't make any sense to me. It's our medical system is really not working for us. And a lot of people forget that they work for us.
Yes, great point. Excellent point. Any thoughts to add, Becca?
Oh no, I totally agree. I was actually going to say, it's been a long time since that surgery, since I kind of, I don't want to say I left medicine behind or anything, because that's not true, but that was like my major turning point towards botanicals and other natural alternatives. And back in 2021 and also last year, I got neurological Lyme disease, and I was reintroduced to this very frustrating fight. Just trying to get somebody to listen to you, to believe you. You're too young. You don't look sick. Like it's ridiculous, and we should not be treated like that. But while I'm here, I also wanted to tell you, Amanda, that I'm super proud of you. We met in 2021, standing in line waiting to talk to the New Hampshire legislator when they brought that bill up against Kr8tom.
Wasn't that 2016?
Was it
2016? Yeah, it was 2016. Really? That was when the DEA was going after the plant.
Yeah. But when Veronica and I came down,
was that 2021? That was only 4 years ago, something like that. I don't know. It's been a lot.
Yeah, it's been a long time, and they made us wait in that line, and I got to know you, and it was so awesome. And I remember they were like, we've already decided we're not going to do this. You guys can all go home. And every single one of us were like, no, we're gonna
speak
about this. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. And we all made them, sit and listen to us and get us on the record. And I'm so grateful that we did. And I'm so grateful that I got to meet you and watch you grow over these last several years. And it's just great.
Oh, I love you. I love you. UNV, you got to give her a big hug when you see her for me.
I definitely will.
Yeah, definitely.
We have such a great community. I love it. And people are enjoying this conversation. The comments are really lit up today. So thank you all for everybody that's here live with us and for anybody watching the replay. We're so glad you're here too. Okay, I got a video to play a news story out of Missouri. The Attorney General in Missouri is really doing a crackdown on Kr8tom and 7-OH. So let me play this for y'all.
Attorney General is cracking down on Kr8tom products and 7-OH.
Last month, KCTV5 looked into concerns about 7-OH and over-the-counter products with opioid-like effects. Now, the state is investigating Kansas City-based CBD American Shaman and a half dozen other Missouri companies. Attorney General Catherine Hanaway says the state's, quote, deeply concerned that Missourians are being sold drug-like substances under the guise of harmless supplements.
Gas stations and smoke shops sell these products. Well, Hanaway is raising concerns that they contain levels of 7-OH far exceeding what naturally occurs in the plant. Some call it a natural remedy, but others warn it is a dangerous opioid. 7 states and Washington, D.C. ban Kr8tom. 18 others restricted, but not Kansas or Missouri. KCTV5's Morgan Rydell joins us live outside CBD American Shaman, one of those local distributors put on notice by the Attorney General. And Morgan, what is she asking for here?
Yeah, well, the Attorney General is asking this company here and 5 others to submit documents about how their products are made, labeled, and advertised. 7-OH, it's a new wave of supplement that state leaders say is highly addictive. While trace amounts of 7-OH occur naturally in Kr8tom, it's being synthetically enhanced, making the opioid-like effects even stronger. According to experts, it's 13 times more powerful than morphine, and it's found in grocery stores and gas stations. But how did we even get here?
It's one molecule ahead of the law enforcement, and that's all it is.
Daniel Neal is the executive director of the Midwest High-Intensity Drug Traffic Area and has spent a lot of time combating loopholes just like 7-OH.
With synthetic drugs like this, it's difficult for law enforcement and policymakers to be able to try to get ahead of just changing one little molecule to get around the law and get around enforcement of that.
He says it's a serious danger disguised in fun packages.
The potency of this is so strong, and the addictability to it is so high.
That concern is the reason why Missouri's Attorney General has launched a statewide investigation into Kratom manufacturers and distributors, saying, quote, when businesses peddle unregulated addictive substances and hide the risks, they violate the trust of Missouri consumers. According to the Missouri Department of Health, 7-OH can lead to seizures, depression, rapid heart rate, and high blood pressure, and they say it can even cause death. Missouri Poison Control says just this year, calls related to Kratom and 7-OH have doubled compared to the last two.
There's no age restrictions. There's no restrictions at all. It's very worrisome as not only as a community member, but as a parent.
AG Hanaway says all the information that she's requesting from these 6 companies must be submitted to her office by December 19th. We did reach out to the owner of CBD American Shaman, who says his products are safe and he will continue to fight for them. Reporting live. More.
Okay. Isn't CBD Shaman, isn't that the guy that manufactures a lot of the 7-OH products that are out there?
What I've heard, he started in on it. It wasn't even like, hey, I did this, but yeah, it was somebody else, I think, that might started it before him. I don't know. That's, you hear it's the game of telephone, until you hear it right from the horse's mouth, I guess, I wouldn't know, but that's what I've heard.
But he's currently one of the big manufacturers of 7-OH, right?
I think so. I mean, I know that there's other large manufacturers. I don't know anybody who specifically purchases off of him. Any vendors that I know do not go through him.
Yeah. I mean, if they just had regulations in place, it wouldn't be such an issue, right?
Well, that's what I'm wondering. It's like you hear there's no age restriction, but yet we all know you go into any store that's selling CBD and that's an immediate 18. So there is an age restriction, whether it be 18, most places, and a lot of places you will see the 21, but at minimum they have it at 18. So I like to know where they're getting it for these children. I've not seen it anything out here. I work with DARE programs. I work with, dance safe programs. And let me tell you, like, I work in a rave scene as well. We don't see this. You don't hear of this product, so it's like all this partying that people are saying and abusing it, and like, I don't know where they're talking about it's getting passed around like this. I don't get it.
Yeah. Like where's the proof of that? And all these seizures and deaths and like that whole laundry list of things.
Well, again, it's all, coming out right now, but yet 7-OH has been around for literally 2 years and we're just now hearing of this. Where was all of this when it was happening? That one study came out and that was with the, intravenous for the mice or the rats or what it was. And, you take one thing and that's what everybody's been going off of. And it's the game of telephone. It's just one person says something and then it just, that's where misinformation starting to get spread, which is frustrating.
Yeah. I mean, that's why I'm starting to make some of these science, fact-based videos like the Kratom and seizures one that I did last week, because there's so much misinformation and then people spread it like wildfire. And it's crazy. It's like, where are they getting this information to start? Usually some outdated whatever, that's not even factual. But people want to believe it's true and they don't even consume Kratom. They don't really know what it is, but they want to push this misinformation narrative. And it drives me nuts.
It is frustrating to see, because I mean, I've heard the word pool shock mentioned a few times and it's been mentioned by the AKA and that's just the furthest thing from the truth.
Well, Dr. McCurdy was on this. So we had Dr. McCurdy on the Kratom Gals earlier this year. I think it was back in March. And we did a live interview with him. So we ended up we knew we would be talking about 7-OH because it was really starting to get popular at the beginning of this year. And he's the one that mentioned that. Now, I do remember the way he phrased it, though. It wasn't that he specifically found it. He talked to other scientists who told him that they found that in some of the products. But it was kind of shocking to hear that because you're just not expecting to hear, like, it gives you this visual like, oh my God, that sounds terrible.
Right. Which makes it even more important for those that are manufacturing that to make sure that they have a good, clean product and that information to give to the people so that they know that.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Testing for the residual solvents and all of that stuff. There's a cap at everything. I mean, you look at Cheerios, and you know what? There's a lot of solvents in that stuff, and it's like people don't stop to think that there's certain things that they deem safe at a consumable level. It's in our foods, it's in our makeups, it's in everything, and they're not stopping to think about that. They're just like, oh my God, this product is in here, and this is what's going on, and it's tough. It's tough.
Yeah.
It's got the community against each other. It's got false information being spread, and maybe
Yeah.
this is exactly what they want. Who knows?
Yeah. Right. Well, and not everybody advocates for 708. Some people advocate for Kratom. Some advocate for both. You use both, Amanda, so you advocate for both. So does Twinkle, who's live in the chat. I don't personally use 708. So I talk about things that I have my personal experience with, but I see so many people that do get benefits from it. I've also talked to tons of people who have devastating stories of how their life is because of 708. And most of the time it's because they say that it's so much of the same story. I went to the smoke shop and they gave me this free sample and they didn't tell me what it really was. Or some of them said, I've been consuming kratom powder. Like, I'm very familiar with it. They just told me it was stronger kratom. But still, like, we need regulation for everything, I think, and that would solve so many of the problems that we see in news stories like this one, and it's like, kids are getting it and has all these side effects and it'll kill you, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, if we just had regulation, we wouldn't have so many problems.
Yeah, I agree completely. I don't even think, does Missouri have a KCPA? Do you guys know? Because I was just thinking about like what like in that news story, what he was saying, and just do they have a KCPA Act out there?
Let's find out. Let me go Google real quick and we'll see. I'm not sure. I know there's a bunch of them, but we know like 18 states that have it now. Yeah, Missouri, it looks like they do have one. Let me pull this up and see what the date is. Or it was red. Maybe, I don't know if it was passed. I'm just doing a quick search while we're live. Oh, wait, yeah, Missouri passed its kratom consumer. Okay, yes, 2022. Missouri passes Kratom Consumer Protection Act, KCPA. Here's what you should know about it. It's an article on Super Speciosa's website. So interesting. And so the frustration I have is that you have states with a KCPA. I live in Texas. We have a KCPA. Yet they tried to ban all kratom earlier this year. They're targeting 7-OH. They were very clear when they presented this bill that powder's fine, but we're just going to ban it all. But there's a KCPA. Why don't they just enforce it? And that would solve everything. So I don't understand, why is that not being done in all these other states?
Right, right. They go through all the work to get the KCPA there, and we did all the advocating and stuff to get it there. Just enforce it, enforce it.
Yeah. It's incredibly frustrating.
Very, very. And I do hope that more states take advantage of that, framework already being available. But I agree with a lot of the things that you said before that too, Madeline, that we've seen both sides of 7-OH. And while I don't use it personally, I do advocate for adults being able to make their own choices. And I think that's also very important. And a lot of the states that are trying to ban it are overlooking that as well, and the the wants of their constituents, and that's what concerns me even more.
Yeah, I am not for prohibition. I agree. Adults should be allowed to make their own decisions. and not have something taken away that helps them. I mean, in hearing your story, Amanda and Twinkle and others who talk about using 7-OH in addition to their kratom leaf, it's great to hear the amount of relief you're able to get. And Amanda, on the podcast, you were sharing your story about how your Crohn's flare and leaf powder wasn't helping, but 7-OH did.
There's time. I mean, when I'm in a Crohn's flare, like even drinking water, it hurts. It hurts my stomach. So if I'm able to take like she calls it a little nibble, and I absolutely love that. Like if I take like just the teeniest little nibble, I mean, no lie, it's like the little bit of dusting of a piece of powder, and that's it. It'll simmer my stomach down enough to where I can drink some water, which we need that to stay hydrated. I can have, something very light to eat, like toast or something. That way I can, keep building the strength up, but to not be able to do anything because either I can't eat or take anything for my pain to get out of bed. It's a rough go, and when one thing flares with somebody's body and you have other things with an, autoimmune condition, everything flares, and to either try to tackle it and stay above it is way easier than to try to tackle it all and bring it all back down. So that's why I tried the 7-0. That's why I tried it was, first of all, I want, all the talk about it, and then the proof that I had, gotten and the information that I had read about it. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to take this. And like I said, I took like the littlest piece of a tablet because at first that's what was just the tablets. And it was a game changer. I was able to go eat after not eating anything and being in bed for 3 days and not being able to do anything because I was in such a bad flare with my Crohn's that then sent my pain into flare because I couldn't properly take care of myself.
Yeah, I mean, that's quite a testament. But what about these 7-OH manufacturers that keep escalating the dosage and these high, outrageous amounts that some people want more because the companies are making them like that?
Yeah, no, and I see it. And it's like, you've got these tablets, they're like, 35 milligrams, and I have a 35 milligram tablet and it's scored in 4, and it's not in anything I take, it's, break in this many, take this, don't take it as a whole. Like anything I take has, this is what, you do and don't take, take in, very moderation, don't consume, not for everyday use. That's what my stuff says. Some of the stuff that's out there, like, I don't know what's going on with, these, Perks and Roxy's and, all these other names. Like, I can't talk for that product because I will not buy it. I will not support it. I will not use it. Even if it was gifted to me, like some of the stuff like you get walking into a vape shop, they just hand it to you. I don't know what it is and they don't know what it is. And it's like, they kind of get a little dumbfounded because I start asking questions. It's like going to a mechanic and I talk to them about car stuff and they're like, oh my goodness, this girl knows her stuff. So I'm like, well, what is it that you're selling? Like, do you even know what this is? Do you have labs on this? And they have nothing. They have nothing. They're just selling it in their store. They don't even have labs. So it's like, no, absolutely not. I don't know. I mean, the stuff I take has dosage instructions, do not exceed this, do not that. So the other stuff, I'm not sure. And then again, when it all boils down to it, it's all about accountability. Don't take more, stop taking more, stop ruining it. Like all these people out here taking more. It's like, if you enjoy the product that you're taking and it's helping you for whatever reason you're taking it, stop ruining it for the rest of us. Like, come on, hold yourself accountable. Like, why? This is why we can't have nice things. It's like, this is why we can't have nice things because people just can't be adults, be accountable, stop abusing things, like take ownership for your actions that you're doing. If you're taking more 7-OH, that's not a me problem. That's a you problem because I'm accountable for what I take. I don't take it every day. I can go weeks without taking it. I haven't taken it in a couple of weeks. I don't need it right now. I don't need it right now. I've had some high pain days. If I need a little nibble, I'll take it. But right now, it's been like about 2 weeks and I haven't had to take it. And that's good for me. My Kr8tom dose hasn't changed either, so I just get frustrated sometimes because the stuff that's available in this, it doesn't belong there. It doesn't. And if you're going to sell it, you need to have education. Our vendors do. Our vendors, any vendor that I buy from, you all buy from, work from, we all have education. We all have education on what we're taking.
It's personal accountability.
It's like
That's
going
what
to
it
the
boils down
grocery
to.
store and reading something, for ingredients, oh, you're not going to buy this because there's too much, sugar or whatever in it. Well, then read what else you're putting in your body. It's no different. It's no different. It's no different than a prescription, you're reading what you're putting in your body, read it, follow the directions. Don't abuse it, and don't ruin it for yourselves and everybody else.
Exactly. Twinkle says, I think vendors selling 7 third-party testing and doing it right are not bad, evil people at all. It offers safe supply for those who utilize it. That's
Exactly,
great point.
because they're testing just like they're testing the Kratom powder and then some, because there's because it is a semi-synthetic, it is going to be altered in some way, just like all the mint extracts that are out there that, gee, all of a sudden now there's no issue with them, but there was an issue with them before. It's, and it goes back to the language back in, 2016, 2017, when they were saying that Kratom is street heroin, it's like morphine. They said it about Kratom. They said it about mint. Now they're saying it about 7.0. And it's like, which one is next? That's kind of how I feel. It's like, okay, what's next with this one? Which one are they going to attack next?
Exactly. It's such a great conversation. But it still goes back to, there are some manufacturers that are just, all they care about is making money, and they keep making stronger and stronger products.
And they should be weeding those ones out. If they see that there's vendors doing it correctly, good.
Yeah.
Get rid of the ones that are doing it, calling it perks or oxys. Get rid of it to the ones that are supplying it to a gas station or a smoke shop with no labs, nothing. Get rid of those. Put some sort of a regulation, on stuff. It's like you can't go in, to a specific like cigarette, tobacco, and vape specific shop. If you're underage, you can't go in there and buy anything. You can't go get anything. Put it in places like this where it's mandatory, or like, how we're signing now for a stinking decongestant from the pharmacy because we can't get it off the shelves. Put accountability in there somewhere, vendors, purchasers, whatever. Like if we can have some sort of a regulated happy medium, I think it would keep, the public happy. It would keep the consumers happy, and it hopefully would keep the rest of the world happy, but who knows?
But shouldn't there be accountability from, say, the local municipality where they offer the license for this shop to sell these things?
Oh, there absolutely should. But they also need the education, because where I went to the New Hampshire ban hearing, only one alderman that brought forth Kratom to the ban table, not any of them knew a dang thing about it. And they were all ready to ban it that day and knew nothing about it. So then this just keeps going to our higher ups. They need proper education if they're going to be sitting here banning something that they know nothing about,
Yeah. That wouldn't be the first time we've seen that on the Kratom Gals. We've watched some hearings in the past 2 years where one time the person, as they're reading and talking about banning it, the person says, let me go check the Google machine to go look up Kratom. They didn't even know what it was. We heard all kinds of craziness where they don't even know what it is, but they want to ban it right away. This is a great conversation. I'm loving this. But I feel like some of these municipalities need to take responsibility too, because they should be paying more attention to what's being sold in stores that they have the control over. Doesn't that make sense?
It does make sense. I completely agree. I think there's a lot of I think all around, consumers, vendors, municipality, like the whole cycle, we're missing each other on some really big important things. And it just feels like if we could just sit down and, like you said, find a happy medium, that we could move on from this very vicious cycle that's harming our community right now.
Right. Yeah.
You don't see this with the war on drugs. Where is everybody going out there right now with the war on drugs, or even simple things like alcohol and cigarettes? Why are they attacking our leaf like this? If billions of us are proof that it's positively affecting not only ourselves, but being productive members of society, like we're not harming society.
Yeah. Well, Dr. Heidi's here. Hey, Dr. Heidi. So she's saying there's a regulatory pathway for 7-OH. It's called a new drug application. What's your thought on that?
I'm going to have to look into that because I don't know what that all is about. So I'm going to have to look into what she's talking about.
I know that they wanted us to do that with regular kratom way back in the day, and I think some proponents still want us to go that route, especially when it comes to big medicine and big box, like you say. So I don't know. I could see that for sure if they wanted to use it as like a medicine type of a thing, but also for like what would that do to regular kratom products as well? Would they come back to that argument? And I just don't know. There's a lot of questions about that. And also, if we're having to do that for 7-OH, apologies, if we're having to do that for 7-OH, why aren't we doing it for things like phenobute and other like nootropics and stuff that don't have those same the same needs? But I do know that NDIs are very expensive. It's a very long process, and yes, agree. I do agree. It does fit under the D shade, but also because it wasn't here, or we can't find like physical proof that it was here before a certain date in the 90s, which I think is 1992.
I think it's 94.
We have issues with that as well.
Yeah, it'd be nice if there was proof of it before that. That would solve a lot of things.
Definitely.
Great conversations. Why don't we transition over to some advocacy videos? I found some like really nice advocacy videos. I love to see more people advocate. It's very simple. You get your phone, you turn on the camera, you point at yourself, and you just talk, and you put it out there. It's super easy. I know not everybody's comfortable with that. If anybody's not comfortable just being on camera, reach out to me, let me know. I'm good at helping people get comfy on camera. I used to actually have an online program teaching people how to get comfortable on. I think I should bring that back because it helped a lot of people. But advocacy matters. Is so important. And we need more people out there doing this. So I came across this gal, Stephanie, on YouTube that has a couple of just simple advocacy videos. I want to play them both for you. She's in California, and California's been under attack with banning kratom. And what I love about her videos is that she's doing it while sitting in her car. This is something anybody else can do too. You don't have to be fancy. You don't have to have special equipment. You don't have to be a certain place. Just sit in your car and make a video. Like she's just sitting parked somewhere making these videos. But hopefully this will help motivate others to get out and advocate.
Hi, everybody. My name's Stephanie. I am not a politician, not an influencer. I'm not even a YouTuber. I'm just a responsible California kratom consumer with a voice. If you're also a kratom consumer in California, you know that we are in a critical fight right now. The California Department of Public Health is calling kratom illegal, and that's affecting all of us. But I want you to know that there is still massive hope, and you and I have the power to help us win this, okay? The only way that we're going to be able to override an agency declaration like the one that's just been done by the California Department of Public Health is with a new state law. And I don't know if you've heard about it already, but this law that's taking place is Assembly Bill 1088, also AB 1088. And this is going to be our best shot at keeping kratom legal and regulated in California. So this bill is not just about, it's not about letting anything go. It's going to be about regulation versus prohibition. So let's talk about why we support this bill. First of all, it sets crucial age restrictions to 21 and over and manufacturing standards to help protect consumers from bad products. Secondly, and this one's huge, it's going to limit the amount of synthetic 7-OH that's in products. And I believe that this is what's hurting us. So this is going to protect the natural whole leaf kratom that we rely on while targeting the dangerous concentrated synthetics that are out there. So what we need is responsible regulation, and this bill is what's going to deliver that. So right now, AB 1088 has passed the Assembly. That's great. But now it's sitting in the Senate Health Committee, and this is the bottleneck. So the senators on this committee need to hear from every single one of us right now before they vote. And right now, the time to act is limited. So I need you to do 2 things today. And trust me, I'm keeping it super easy for you with everything that is going to be in the description. So first, we're going to the official source by opening up your web browser and going to the California Legislation Position Letter Portal. Again, that link is going to be in the description. Once you're there, there's going to be a drop-down menu or a search bar. You're going to search for and select AB 1088. Then there's going to be another drop-down that says support or oppose. You're going to select support. Then you're going to write a concise, respectful letter to the committee, and I'm going to leave a template. When you write your letter, the template is going to include three points. One, that you are a constituent and you have to include your city. You support the AB 1088 for its focus on regulation and safety standards. And number 3, you specifically support the bill's limit on synthetic 7-OH products to protect natural kratom. The template, I believe, is a very simple layout, but you're going to want to personalize it and keep it brief. Second, you're going to email the California Senators Health Committee, and I'll have a PDF link that has all their email addresses and the template that you can just copy and paste, change your name, address, personalize it, and just know that every single voice matters. This isn't just about an herb. It's about consumer freedom and our ability to choose natural alternatives. So just take 5 minutes right now, submit your position, send an email. Share this video with every responsible Kratom user that you know. Let's make our voices too loud to ignore. I'm going to continue posting as I hear things, so just like and subscribe for updates, and together, let's save Kratom.
I love that. What a great advocacy video, just sitting in her car and making a video to help other people advocate in California.
She's a very good speaker, and
She is.
I think she could do a lot for our community. That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, it just, like, had popped up in my feed recently on YouTube. I'm like, "Wow, she's impressive." And then she made another video the next day. She did these videos of, one we just watched was about a week and a half, a little over a week ago, and then she made another one, the other day, so I'm gonna play that one too. It's shorter.
I know exactly how you're feeling right now. You're feeling scared, angry, confused, frustrated. You're probably feeling blindsided. And I know because I've been experiencing all of these emotions ever since I got an email response from my preferred Kratom vendor telling me that they couldn't fulfill my order because as of October 2025, Kratom has been declared illegal by the California Department of Public Health. No warning, no transparency, just a sudden side-sweeping decision that happened seemingly overnight that affects thousands of California Kratom consumers. Now, if you haven't watched the video that I posted yesterday, go pause this one, go back and watch that one first, because in that video, I explain that there is still hope, and that hope is through AB 1088. I explain how it works, why it works, how we're going to use it to our advantage, and how to send an email to your local senators. So go back and watch that one, come back and watch this one, because today I'm going to ask you to take things one step further, and that is another action step, a 2-minute phone call. And it doesn't have to be scary or complicated. I'm going to list everything in the description below this video. I'm going to explain how to locate your senator, the senator in your district, how to locate their telephone number, and a word-for-word script on what to say when you make your phone call. So I'm going to be guiding you through this. It doesn't, like again said, it doesn't have to be complicated or scary. It's just a quick, very respectful and precise phone call. After you make the phone call, make sure you comment below to let me know that you made it, what city you live in, and share this video to help get the message out to other Kratom consumers, because believe it or not, your voice matters. My voice matters. And the more of us that speak up, the more they'll be forced to listen. I'll be following the situation very closely. So make sure to subscribe if you want to follow along with me, and I will see you in the next.
I love her. I don't know where she came from, but I love that spirit. We need more people, Kratom consumers, like, let's make stuff happen.
Yeah, I'm starting to see like TikToks and stuff popping up now where people are like, look, they're trying to ban stuff. Like, people are now starting to realize it, some because obviously their states have already been banned, or their, towns or cities have been banned. But like, I'm seeing more people starting to put themselves out there. There's a lot of like negative, obviously, out on TikTok. You see both sides, you read both sides. And that's because there is negative on both sides. You know, there's negative on both sides of Kratom and 7-OH. You know, it's just how things are. There's a negative side to everything in life, you know? So hopefully the positive is going to get out there, and the more positive that we have and the more people that are, you know, sharing their stories and showing, hey, like, you know, I'm a functioning member of society. I'm not this bad person, you know, like, you know, the news or whatever is portraying. Like, this is a helpful plant. And hey, you know, we as people should have the right to choose, you know, so hopefully one person speaking up will start giving people the courage to speak up. Cause I know I was terrified to go to a hearing and speak, to even be like on live like this, but I'm very passionate about the plant, and I've got to do what I got to do, not only for me, but for others. Cause if nobody speaks up, it's just going to easily be taken away.
Absolutely. Vina is asking a question. Has anyone experienced the same issues with 7-OH? It doesn't help with the pain as much as the powder. The powder hits all the receptors. 7-O only plugs half of the pain receptors and nothing else.
Yep. Where I take the 7-O, I honestly need all of the alkaloids. I need them all, because the 7-O, to me, it's kind of like a breakthrough, or like a small maintenance type of a dose. It's not going to be enough for me. Like, my dose isn't going to last as long as my regular Kratom dose will. Like, you know, I can get a longer dose out of the Kratom because it has all of the alkaloids. And that's what I find for myself to work best with 7-O. And I find a lot, you know, being that I work at, you know, with a vendor who sells it, I've had a lot of customers say the same thing. And they'll either end up putting just like a little nibble of the 7 with their Kratom powder to give it that extra boost they need. Or, you know, I've seen them just using mint extracts with the 7-O, you know, and that's all they need. And it works for them, you know, but, you know, just like her question said, you know, it just explained right there how different it is with some people. Same experience with me, where others, you know, they could take it and they get all the pain relief they need. You know, I know there's a few people here in the comments that I've been reading that have gotten a lot of relief from 7-O that they didn't get from Kratom for pain. So it's so different, you know, it's so different.
It seems that people that I've talked to, or either here on our chat or in the comments, in the live comments, that get help with 7-OH are typically those that say they use Kratom leaf, but like what you're saying, they just do the nibble. They use it to enhance. People before 7-OH were doing that with extracts, liquid extracts. There was a lot of that. Like, I use my Kratom leaf, but then on a bad pain day, I'll add some extracts. And with me, extracts don't really do much for me. I'm always so surprised, because I know a lot of people talk about how extracts are great for bad pain days. And whenever I've tried it, I'm not going to do it by itself because I get great benefit from the leaf. But if I'm having a bad pain day, I would like that little extra oomph to it. And so many people talk about that working well. And it sometimes with me, I feel like it's reversing it, like it's making my Kratom leaf not work. And I don't like it. Although there is one gummy y'all hear me talk about here, my EXP gummies, that I love. And this is the only extract I've found. Now, everybody's different, so just FYI, my personal experience. But these EXP gummies, EXP botanicals, I don't know why, but this is the only thing that when I'm having a bad pain day, I'll add a gummy in addition to my powder, and I find it's been helpful to me. You know, they're low dose, so it's not drastic, but better than any type of liquid extract or other gummies I've tried so far. So I'm always looking for something that helps with those bad pain days, because we all go through that. So I don't know. But thank you for giving her some insights into that, because I'm sure that was helpful for her. Heidi says 7-OH is not Kratom. 8-factor analysis on 7-OH shows it qualifies for scheduling due to high addiction liability. And there's some, isn't Dr. Kirsten Smith doing a study on 7-OH? Hasn't she been doing one this year?
I believe her. I know Michelle Ross is also doing, and you know, she's working. I know that there's a lot of stuff that's being worked on, you know, and I don't know. I'm getting a lot of, you know, it's kind of almost like a he said, she said. One says one, another says another. So, you know, I'll believe it all when I get to, you know, see it for myself. You know, my son is a biochemist, so I do ask his opinion on all of this stuff too. So
Yeah, but I still go
yeah.
back to if these products should not be on the market, why did the government let them get on the market? Why is there not more oversight? It's taken 2 years.
Why are they studying
No, no, no,
seven?
no, no. I mean, just going back to why are these so widely available, these products? It took the government 2 years to decide, like, this is bad. We got to get it off the market. But it goes, I still, in my mind, it's like, well, weren't they aware when these products, you can't just go make a product and just stick it on the market. There's a process, right? Especially something like this, right?
Yeah, so it's like, why now? Why now all of a sudden? This has been out there for 2 years. What all now is the controversy? Because
Well, I think
we
the
weren't seeing
popularity.
it's yeah, the popularity, you know, it's I don't know. It's frustrating. I wish they would be going after, you know, real street drugs like they're going after
Yeah,
our
yeah,
plant and 7-0. Like
yeah.
like these two, granted, I can, you know, people for it or not for it, I get it, but it's still also way less harm than anything that's out there killing people right now. So let's go focus on what's taking the lives of people. You know, that's the sad part.
Yeah, what happened to the focus on fentanyl and that newer street drug, is it crank? What's the one that, like, animal tranquilizer or whatever? That's really bad.
Oh, there's so much out there now. I can't even keep up between the methamphetamine, the fentanyl, the carfentanil. I don't even know. Like, and I mean,
Yeah.
where I'm at in Nashville, you know, a place in Nashville, New Hampshire, I see a lot of homeless, a lot of people who are on drugs. And 20 years ago, you didn't see people standing in the street slumped over looking like they're doing like this. And it reminds me of like the Michael Jackson, like Thriller crypt walk video, because that's what these people look like. They're hunched over, their skin looks, you know, it's like, what is being put into these drugs on top of what is going around? Because this wasn't what the world was 20 years ago, even with like regular heroin and stuff. Like we were not seeing this with regular drugs. Now it's the fentanyl and everything that's being made. You know, it's
No.
scary. It's scary.
And
Yeah.
people could function with regular drugs, you know?
Yeah,
And
not to say it's safer, but it was
Right.
safer, you know?
Right. Yeah, exactly.
I mean, we didn't hear of this, you know, overdosing in the 80s. Heroin was a big thing in the 80s. We weren't hearing that, you know, we were not hearing any of this in the 90s, you know. I worked in a very, I guess one would call it a lot of people just assume there's a lot of drugs there. Yes, drugs go wherever, you know, there's an event, concerts, music, any, you know, a house party, whatever. But it's like, you know, we weren't seeing that. There was no overdoses going on, you know, none of that stuff. We didn't have Narcan. We didn't have to worry about all of this stuff. This wasn't happening.
And I remember telling my doctor in early 2000, right after I got sick, and that's when I found out that he was cutting back. It was probably like 2002 or something like that. And there was an article in the paper saying in Delaware that there's a rise in middle class heroin users. And I told him, I said, I brought it to him, and I said, the reason this is happening is because you're taking their pain meds away. So now you're going to have a bunch of functional heroin users until they change the recipe, you know, and now they can't function. I said, because that's what they have to go to in order to go to work and do what they need to do. So, and it seems like that's exactly what happened.
Yeah. Such an interesting discussion we're having. I got a few more advocacy videos I want to play. So next up is from my friend Abram at Pure Infinity Botanicals. He has a really interesting video he put out.
Kentucky is moving to ban 7-hydroxy. We could kind of see this coming based on the FDA's meetings and assessments of 7-hydroxy in the marketplace, their assumption being that it has no therapeutic value and that it's got a high potential for abuse. I can tell you from firsthand experience that if you're in Kentucky right now and you're using a lot of 7-hydroxy, it's going to be a really, really stressful time for you. So even though as a conventional Kratom company, when we see this stuff happen, it gives a little bit momentum back to our company and companies like us. It's not something that I'm necessarily celebrating, because I'm going to tell you it's going to hurt a lot more people than it's going to help to have 7-hydroxy immediately scheduled as a Schedule 1 in Kentucky. Overnight, a product that people have been purchasing over the counters, have developed a tolerance and an addiction to, are going to lose it as an option. So we just went through this in Florida, and I can tell you this is exactly how it plays out. A good portion of the market, being law-abiding citizens, is going to get rid of their inventory. Another portion of the business realm in the state of Kentucky is going to see this as a great opportunity to make some cash. Consumers, some of whom are going to be in a position to quit what was a small habit, are just going to say, screw it, I'm done. I'm going to go do something else with my time and spend my money on some other substance. But a good chunk of people who've been consuming anywhere from 150 to 300 milligrams of 7-OH a day really are going to be challenged by this, and they're going to go store to store to try and find shop owners that are willing to sell them this product. It's extremely unfortunate, and my one wish for regulatory agencies is that they would deal with things in a more measured response. Give people a window of time. Let people know they have 30 days, or come up with regulation that caps the maximum amount of dosage for these types of products in the market, so that you don't have consumers who are spending $100 a day on a 200 milligram a day habit of 7-hydroxy.
Oh, yeah, he's always helping to educate Kratom consumers about a variety of things. And, in Florida where he's at, they did that abrupt banning of 7-OH. And so his company doesn't sell 7-OH. They are a Kratom manufacturer, but, they were getting a lot of calls from people that need help and they don't know what to do. So he's like, we're like one of the only companies that will answer the phone ourselves. Like he's a VP of the company, the manufacturing company. He picks up the phone and answers, and he talks to people all hours of the day and night. He's told me, just trying to help people, deal with having to find alternatives and feeling like they can't find assistance. And he told me, or I think he did a video recently we watched here where him and his staff went and called other Kratom companies and manufacturers and couldn't get anybody on the phone to talk to. And it's like, people need help and support right now.
Yep, they definitely don't need to be abandoned, because that's what the doctors are doing,
Yes.
Yeah, I
Yes.
like the way he was like, give them a time frame. I mean, like, it's just a humane thing to do in general. Like, I mean, you know how it is when they just literally ripped away pharmaceuticals. How many of us just were like, what the heck? And what we went through, like,
Yeah.
where's people's compassion for humanity these days, because that's harsh. And doing stuff like that, like he says, it's going to lead people back, to other things. It's, people are going to go back to other things if this is, abruptly taken away, like the way it happened in Florida. I remember, I forget which one you had shown that video on, but I remember you showing him before, and I really liked what he had to say. I don't agree with everything that he has to say, but I 100% respect the man, because he was responsible, he was cordial, and he cared about everybody as a whole. Whether he agreed with the product or not, he agreed that it needed to be taken away in a proper manner if that's how it was going to be done. And I respect that.
Yeah, me too. I really do respect that. I don't like how, some of these companies are doing things with the whole 7-OH, and greedy people trying to make a buck by having it so widely available in smoke shops and places where, is too easy to get in the hands of underage people. Of course, there's no education. But then again, is there education when you go to the store to buy alcohol? Or go, I mean, I don't know, it just goes back to personal accountability. But don't be greedy in having this where kids could get access to it, and, just abide by rules.
I agree. There's no reason it needs to be in a convenience store. If you're able to get it, should be wherever you're able to get it, you should have to be over 18 or to get into that store.
Yeah. I mean, I think major problem was when they started putting it in all the convenience stores. Got a lot of comments coming in here. Lori, good luck with your surgery.
I know I've been trying to keep up with the comments, and I'm like, oh
A
my
lot.
goodness, it's a lot.
Mhm.
And it's like,
Yeah.
I mean, like I'm a very empathetic person, so it's like, with these bans going on, with people dealing with pain, like this hits my heart. I hate seeing people suffer. This is why I'm out here fighting. Like some people can't, some people are too nervous to. Like, but
Yeah.
it's like, people, having surgeries, and they're nervous about being, without pain meds. I mean, I had my hysterectomy, and I stopped taking Kratom for a full 2 weeks before my surgery. Did all, stopped all my like vitamins, all botanicals, everything. Followed what they said. Oh, what a nightmare. What a nightmare when, take the pharmaceuticals. I was in and out of the hospital a couple of times the first week, and I was all set, tossed the freaking Percocet that they gave me and went right back to my botanicals. And it was just, I go back to what works. So, anybody that's out there like having surgery, follow certain things that doctor says. But when it comes down to after your surgery and treating your pain, what works for you, do what works for you. You know your body better than anyone else.
Yep. And
Absolutely.
Kratom worked best for me after surgery, and even in the hospital, like I've told many, many times, it just worked better.
Yeah. It's just so awesome. And the 2 surgeries I've had since I've been a Kratom consumer, I just went right back to Kratom because it just works better for me. And, Wolfgang, I'm gonna put his comment back up talking about all the people that have been, lost access to pain meds. Not everybody was even truly tapered down. I was dropped abruptly because of all the government policies. And when I was first dropped by a form letter, you go every month to see the doctor. You go to, as we talked about earlier, it's a little part-time job, right? And I get a form letter in the mail telling me that, he's not going to prescribe anymore to all of his patients. They did not put me on a taper plan at first. And I went to Twitter. So this is early 2019. And I was like trying to find somebody to talk to, like, who can help with this? I have no idea where to turn. And I met a chronic pain advocate. This was before I knew about Claudia Morandi, but this was, she was either wrote an article or was featured in some article about chronic pain community in Rolling Stone or something. I think that's how I found her. So I found her on Twitter from that, and I DM'd her, and I just didn't know what to do. And I didn't know who to talk to. And I'll never forget, she DM'd me back and she said, you get in touch with your doctor and you tell them they have to put you on some kind of taper. They can't just leave you high and dry. Even though the form letter had a list of all these other doctors that, so you can somebody else would take over. I called them all. Nobody would take over. And I just called all around the city. Certainly somebody would take over. No, nobody would do it. And so she said, you contact them and you tell them they got to do something because they can't just not do something for you. And I'm so glad I got the advice because I didn't know what to do. And so they put me on a like a 30-day scheduled taper where it was very abrupt. So, for example, the current dose was 40 milligram Oxycontin twice a day. And then Percocets were about, I think, 4 or 5 to maybe 6 times a day in between for breakthrough. And their way of putting me on a taper was, okay, for your Oxycontin, we're going to have you taper down from your 40 twice a day to, we're going to prescribe 20s for the next week and then 10s for the following week. So you get down to 0. So they expected me in 1 month to taper down super rapidly. And it's like, are you kidding me? That this is how you practice medicine? And then with the Percocets, it's like, we're just going to give you, you need to take less and less each week. And I'm like, thank God I found Kratom. Because I did taper down as much as I could. And it was horrific. I mean, I was in such pain. It was god awful. I wasn't having like, major withdrawals or anything or, craving my meds. I was craving not being in pain. And I was taking care of my mom. It was just this whole it wasn't like that major life change. It was that major life change plus my dad abruptly dying and me moving back home to take care of my mom. All of this happened all at the same time. And it's like, could things get any worse? Like, I can look back at it now and laugh, but it was a very trying time, and I don't wanna be in pain, and I certainly wanted to help take care of my mom. So, it's just I don't think some of these doctors and medical professionals understand our stories of what they put us through. Like, who does that? It's terrible. And I was like, if I could just get to the office and, like, talk to him for a few minutes because he knows me. I've been going to him for 9 years, like, he knows me. And they wouldn't let me. I mean, they stopped me right inside the door there. They're like, "No." Like, I showed up unannounced one day. I drove all the way over there. I'm like, "Can I just talk to him for a few minutes so we can figure out something?" They're like, "No." Total gatekeepers.
Wow.
It's
They're
like they'd rather
probably,
you
It's like the
suffer.
threat of their license too, and it's
yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, my doctor explained a little bit to me, like when it was like, he's like, this is about ready to happen. And, I'm going to prepare you for it because this is what's going on. And I'm just like, he's like, I know you're already suffering, you're already suffering, you're about ready to suffer more because, we have to take away medicine.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I remember a couple years after I my doctor had put me on Suboxone, and then I lost that doctor. He went to concierge, and I got a call from a police station, from the police, and they started asking me all these questions about his office and how he prescribed the medications. And the way they worded it, it was like they kept making me say, like they were trying to make me say that I got my medication directly from him. And I kept saying, no, I got my prescriptions written out and then they gave them to me, but they kept trying. It was just so weird. It was just a weird thing to have the police call and ask questions about my doctor. And then after hearing Claudia talk about what she talks about, I realized why I was getting that phone call, So, of course, I called them and let them know about it. So,
Yeah. Amanda, do you need to get going? I know you're limited on time today.
Yeah, I've got a few more minutes, but yeah, I mean, I'm good. I'm not rushing out right now. There's so much holiday traffic. I just got a message saying, "Oh, there's a lot." I'm like, "Yeah, good." They're
Okay.
like banning parking, so at this point, I'm just going to go to a different side. So it'll be good.
Yeah.
We'll be good.
Okay,
We'll be
cool.
good. Yeah.
Well, whenever you need to go, it's all good. All right, I got one more advocacy video I want to play from Kamal White. This was somebody that used to come on our X Spaces chat. You probably remember Venus a while back. He used to got real active, started showing up all the time. So he is a Kr8tom manufacturer in Texas, and he makes a lot of advocacy videos. And I really like this new one he just shared.
You know what pisses me off about politics? These politicians got us focusing on talking points rather than actually solving the issues. We have solutions out here for the opiate epidemic like Kr8tom, and they're willing to talk about anything but that because where's the money? Then they'll go into office and put some random bill out with a little ban shoved in the middle to ban the one thing that could solve one of our main problems. Watch what they're doing and watch what they're saying.
I love that. I think I stopped it a few seconds early by accident. I think you just ended up saying, think for yourself. But well done. Nice little short little advocacy video. I like that.
It's so true. So true. A lot of the bans this year, I think, were being snuck into like a different bill or a different meeting, and that's just not acceptable practice to me personally.
Yeah.
For a government.
Yeah, it's been literally thrown in there and then thrown in there with like random things like nitrous and other things or anything that has nothing to do with any substance at all. And it's just, we're just going to slide this Kr8tom bill to ban it, next to like something about, talking about like legislation for parking or whatever. And and then there's the Kr8tom bill. It's like, wait, what? Yeah. And there's no notice. And I don't know if it's starting right there with them or if we're just really not getting the information given to us in time. I mean, that's I don't know how, because when they post it, like I know Jen is always on there looking every single day, checking and checking and checking, and she's sending out, hey, there's 4 more here, there's more here, and it's just, but all these bans that have been going on, I used to get a ton of emails about them constantly, and I'm not getting much. I get a few, from the AK, and it's like sometimes I don't get anything, so I'm like, I don't know what, I don't know if it's happening too fast for them to keep up as well. It's hard to say. It's really hard to say, like right now, with if they're sneaking it in that fast that they're not allowing us the time to prepare and show up, and go to these things. I don't know. It's been rough.
I think there's a little bit more that's going on. V and I were talking last week, especially about all of the people who are losing, like myself, our Facebook accounts, and we're like, what the heck, and we started looking into it, and apparently beginning last year, Meta was under investigation, and they joined something, or it seems like they and other platforms were pressured into joining the alliance to prevent drug harms, and with that came a lot of FDA pressure and action, and I think that kind of jump started a lot of the bans that we have seen over the last year and a half, and a lot of these very sneaky bills, and like all of the other things that are just happening right now.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, because I mean, I lost Wonderland. That page was up for the longest time. I lost that. It's been over a year now, and I had a Discord, everything. It's just they're all gone. They're all gone, and it's a lot of work. It's sad. It's so sad. So many people's stories and so much work and so much. I wonder how half these people are doing, because that's where I spoke to a lot of them. And it's just it's all gone, and it's out of the blue. And I know, I think when that page went down, I was like, one more violation, and then there goes my page. So I'm over here backing up photos constantly, and it's freedom of speech isn't allowed anymore, I guess. We're not harming nobody. Can't even say the word on, can't even type it out these days, and they take away your page for something,
Right.
Yeah.
I know, when I found out your page was gone, I was like, wait, what? And I was like, that explains it.
Yeah, for older things too.
Yeah, they're going after old posts.
Yeah.
Like, I got hit with a 2019 post a couple of days ago, and thankfully, like, they just took it down. They just said we removed it. It wasn't like a warning or anything. I was like, oh man, I thought I was going to lose my page again. I was like, oh great.
I just got a whole bunch of notices from Facebook, third round of them, of like all these posts they took off because I had the word Kr8tom on my personal profile. And TikTok has been removing some of my videos this week. They just don't like me talking about Kr8tom. And then YouTube, thank God we're out of YouTube jail. It's so nice to be back on the Kr8tom Stories podcast YouTube, which is where we're at right now. I feel so lost without it. Is like, because I've always posted so many things over here, and it's incredibly frustrating how much restriction we have talking about this plant. So thanks, Samantha. Thanks for joining us. She said you guys look great. That's awesome.
Thank you.
So I think we'll start kind of wrapping up, because I've been feeling a little under the weather anyway, and I know you're going to be leaving soon, Amanda. Let me play a quick video to remind people I'm always looking for those that want to come on my Kr8tom Stories podcast to share their story. It's separate from this. This is a live stream. This is different. The podcast is Kr8tom Stories podcast. We record it at our convenience. It's just you and me. Y'all have all been on it now. I make it real easy. I make it as little stress as possible. I know for a lot of people in our community, it's their first time being on a podcast, and I know it can be a little nerve-wracking, but I feel like I keep it very calm and easygoing.
Very, very.
Yeah, Venus knows the first time we did hers, it was like, yeah, we had to
keep stopping and going. I was terrified. But you were so good at helping me work through it and do it a second time. So
we had to do it a second time. I think that was the only time that's happened, but no, I totally understand. And it was new. This was back before we even started the Kr8tom Gals. So you were not like, I think, all that comfortable being on camera. I think you had like a
Not
YouTube
at all.
video. I think you had an old YouTube video advocating. I remember seeing when we first met.
Yeah, from 2017, and then nothing for a little while, just my pets. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm always looking for people to have on the podcast. So let me play this nice little PSA. Hey, y'all, I'm Madeline from the Kr8tom Stories podcast, and I am always looking for people to interview for the podcast. I love hearing stories of how people's lives have been changed from Kr8tom. So if you have a story to tell, please get in touch with me. Send me a private message. Let's get you interviewed so you can share your story with the world. Simple. Let's get your story out there. I'm always looking for more people to interview to come on the podcast. So if anybody's interested, reach out.
And it's a nice little thing to add to your emails that you send into the representatives on the end of it. I like to put that in there. And that
That's
way they
good to
can.
think. I'll have to
Yeah.
do that then. I'll
Yeah,
have to
for
do
sure.
that because that's huge. That saves a lot of typing.
I never thought of that.
Yeah,
Like,
That's
definitely.
great. Thank you for that one. Yeah.
Such a
You're
great idea,
welcome.
Venus. Yeah. Yeah, you can send the link to, when you're doing your advocating. Say, hey, if you want to learn more about my personal story, hear it at this link. So, and a quick tip, since y'all have all been on the podcast, I know normally it's like that long web address, the kr8tomstoriespodcast.com/ blah, 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 blah. A shortcut link is kr8tomstoriespodcast.com/ in your episode number and just the number. So like Amanda's episode, I still can't believe this, number 85. I can't believe we got 85 episodes. I'm so excited. So actually, I mean, if you wanted to share it with somebody, an easy shortcut is kr8tomstoriespodcast.com/ and then the number 85.
Wow, that makes it so much easier.
Perfect. Yeah.
It's a lot easier to just be able to say that to somebody instead of like, well, it's this long URL. Let me just text it over. But yeah. Well, I'm trying to decide. I had something. It's kind of long though. I don't know if I want to play it because I'm feeling a little run down. I feel like I should wrap up because I don't want to overdo it. But there was an interesting video, a news radio program in Utah. Y'all know Utah was the first state to enact the KCPA years ago, and they're going after Kr8tom now with a statewide ban. And so it was an interesting news show where they had Mac from the AKA call in and speak, and then also a senator, a Utah senator, and talking about both sides. And I haven't watched the whole thing, but I've watched part of it. It seems really interesting. You're just seeing the camera view of these two DJs at the radio having this discussion and having the people call in. But I found it to be interesting. I think it's good for us to watch stuff like this to see, like, how are they talking about Kr8tom? What do both sides have to say? Is there misinformation somewhere in there so that we can talk about that? But the thing is, this is 18 minutes long, so I don't think I could sit that much longer today. So maybe we'll save it for next week. Has anybody seen it? Do y'all know what I'm talking about?
No. But then sometimes I won't know until I see it again. Then I'll realize that, yeah, I've seen it. So, but I don't think so.
Yeah. Okay. I was catching up on these. There's a lot of comments today. We have such an active community.
Yeah, it was so good
I love
hearing
it.
from all of you guys. I was trying to chat with some of you in the comments too, but like you said, there's been a lot and a lot
Yeah.
more recently. Like, that's great.
Yeah, it go by quick.
Yeah, I know it is hard to keep up. I know when I've like even ones that I've just attended, hanging out, chatting in the comments, I always go back and reread things because I know I miss stuff because it's just flying by.
Yeah.
It's really just vroom. And I'm like, oh, I missed someone like forever ago. Like my friend Samantha, she came in. Hey girl, like I missed her. She's like, you guys look great. I'm like, oh my God, oh, it's her. They're going.
Yeah. It's fun doing these. I'm so glad everybody likes coming to this each week because it was really just an idea I had. I didn't know if anybody would care, but I was just seeing so many videos online, so much misinformation about kratom, and I was like, I think it'd be kind of cool to start a little show and have us watch videos together and talk about it.
Oh, definitely, definitely. I mean, even people like I've just met, like I just met a friend, last night who's into the same type of music, I'm into, and he watched my show, he watched my whole thing just to get to know me better, He's like, I'll
Wow.
take a peek at this, so it's like, hey Josh, if you're watching, what's up? Thanks for watching. This is my crew here. Like thanks for like and subscribe to the show too, because
there you
you
go.
gotta follow. You gotta follow. So
That's
it's
right.
I like, and people, and every day people are learning, I talk about it wherever I go now. Before it was very quiet. I kept it to myself because, it's almost like you're walking around with a big thing of prescription pills and you don't want to talk about that to anybody. I had that same feeling when I first
Right.
taking kratom. Now it's like I scream it from the rooftops. I don't care. I'll dose wherever I'm at. Does not matter. I don't care where I'm at. Plane, car, wherever. Sitting at a restaurant. I don't care. Like I don't care. Look all you want. Ask questions. If you want to snicker, fine. You want to learn something, great. And then a lot of times people are like, oh, no way, and I'll send them a few people's websites and then they're just like, I see them a couple of weeks later, or they'll message me and they thank me, they thank me just for the education on it. They thank me because the state of the world, they know many people, if they aren't suffering from something, they know someone else who is, that's just how it is, like at least one person in everybody's family is suffering from some sort of a chronic pain issue these days. It's, everybody's in pain with something, so it's nice that people are starting to wake up to plants that are available, and some, a lot of it is because they don't have a choice. They have to seek something else because they cannot get the help they need with their doctors.
Yeah,
exactly.
like me and so many of us, exactly. And I've learned more about botanicals since becoming a kratom consumer and meeting all these fellow community members all across social media. I never paid much attention to all this botanical medicine and different things, and I've learned so much, and use a variety of things in my arsenal. And they're not necessarily for pain, but just different things I didn't know about. Lion's mane, like those functional mushrooms. Oh my gosh, I love all the
Oh
different
my
ones.
gosh, yeah. And it's a game changer, like especially
Yeah.
for like I find myself, I mean, I don't know, like I don't know, with everybody that I've talked to that has like chronic pain issues, it seems to give us a brain fog, kind of like a fibro fog, but a little different. Like if you're in chronic pain, you're not, your brain ain't functioning right, and I find even if I have the chronic
Yep.
pain days, I'll take my little mushroom blends that I have, and specifically I'm big on the lion's mane right now. That's been my help. And I do take one. It's called like a stress decompress at night. It's got like ashwagandha, a couple of other little ones. And then I'll take the 11 mushroom blend from Wonderland. And it really has helped a lot of my cognitive thinking where, I would have had to take an Adderall or something to get out of that brain fog and focus with my ADD and ADHD. Now I can take, a simple mushroom, and it's a game changer. And it's crazy how much you can actually tell when you've taken it and when you've not taken it.
Yeah.
Do you guys experience that? Like if you're in pain, do you guys get that foggy feeling sometimes?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I don't live with that pain like I used to since being a kratom consumer, but prior to
No, because we
kratom.
don't have to. We don't
Right.
have to. We don't have
Right.
anybody controlling how much we can take when we can take it. And, like, do I dose every 4 hours? No. But if I needed to, I'm going to, and I don't have to worry about,
Right.
saying, oh, I'm only going to have one pill now and I'm going to be screwed later, but I'm in pain
Right.
now. So let's justify. I just take my powder and I go. The word is, it's manageable. We can manage our lives now. And we weren't being able to do that before, and that just saves all of our mental health as well as physical health,
Yes, I
Absolutely.
agree.
I love this conversation. It's so good. Yeah, what's interesting, when we have the drastic weather changes a couple of times a year, we just went through it in October, and I just really dread when this time of year happens, when we go from the hot to all of a sudden cold, and I'm going to have really bad flare-up pain, and nothing helps. And even back in my pain management days, same thing. Nothing's going to help. I just have to just deal with it. And so I went through that back in October, and I forget like how much kratom helps me until I go through those little flare-ups. And luckily they don't last too long, but I'll pretty much get them like every day in the afternoon for like an hour or two. It's like, oh my God, this is how I used to live 24/7, even with the pain meds, even with opiates. And I just don't go through that since finding kratom, except for, the drastic weather changes. But I've always been that way, always, always. I'll I'll know when a storm is coming. I'll feel it in my back. I'll go look at the weather app. Sure enough, the radar shows there's a storm coming within an hour, maybe sometimes within 24 hours. It's like clockwork,
Oh yeah. Have you been feeling it, Becca? Because like we had like 65-degree weather like 2 or 3 days ago. And then yesterday was like Arctic freezing temperatures. Like my body is like a roller coaster right now.
Oh, wow.
Are you feeling it up there in Maine too? Yeah, because like this is a tough season. Like when it starts getting into the winter here for us, like the barometer pressure changes and my body's angry. I used to like the cool because it was just easier. Now my body is like flipped and I much rather have it hot. I much rather have it hot because now I'm like, I'm done. The pressure and the air, the barometer, everything, I'm done.
Yeah, I've never been more affected. I've lived all across America, from California, Arizona, Nevada, Michigan, where I grew up. I'm in Maine now. I've never been more affected by the weather, the winter, and everything than I am here. But
Same.
I also didn't experience this level of brain fog like throughout my entire, chronic pain issues, surgeries, whatever. I didn't experience this level of brain fog either until Lyme disease and also the weather. But I've noticed it so much worse this year. Yeah, my joints and everything so much worse. I totally feel it.
And I hate that I'm not alone, but I also hate that anybody feels it because this is awful. But it's like, okay, so, all right, I'm not alone. It's relatable to somebody because Becca and I have a lot of the same symptoms, especially with the Lyme. Like her and I both, we chatted a lot about the Lyme, and mine's been rearing its ugly head right now. And I'm like, oh man, it's been rough the last couple, like since we were talking about it on the last podcast, since the Aurora, that's when everything started. And it's
a few weeks ago.
Man, like last week, I said like my body kind of simmered out, and now it's like it's back up. Like I've got knots in my neck, my back, everything is just angry.
Oh man, that sucks.
But you're right. It's been about a month, and it started really kicking in. That is so true.
Real quick, Lori is asking you, Amanda, how do you dose when you're out and about? When you were talking about that before.
If I'm taking 7-0, I will, I can either take the tablet, which is, simple, quick chewable down. No lie, I dose in my car. I dose at a restaurant. I don't care. I take, the tables, my little teaspoons. I do it level. I got my, my little, I usually be in like an ounce or a 2-ounce little baggie, because those are easier to carry, and I'll just scoop it and I go. Like, I get looks now, but you know what? I don't care. Like, I'm not going to stop. I'm not going to feel like crap to please someone else, or, to be, because someone else is looking at me. Like,
feels uncomfortable.
It's taken a lot for me to mentally to get to that place. But you know what? I'm not hurting anybody. I'm not causing any harm to anybody. I'm taking care of myself. And if they, and if anybody sits there and stares, I'm gonna be like, oh, this is just, Kr8tom. I take this as a holistic way to treat my pain. And people, then they're kind of, they're receptive to it. They just, oh, okay. It's like, no, I'm not doing anything, crazy over here. It's just this nasty green sludge of powder.
Right.
It's planty. It's very earthy. It doesn't taste great, but it doesn't, don't worry about it. We're good. And and I've actually, I've had a lot of people end up trying Kr8tom because I've dosed right out in public.
And I'll just, because I carry mine around in an RX bottle already weighed out, I'll just dump it in a bottle and add water, because I like warm water, or if I don't have warm water, I'll add it to whatever I'm drinking, shake it up and just drink it and not make a big deal out of it. And if I'm going to the doctor, I'll have a bottle that I carry with me so they can see it. And I just don't worry about it anymore like you. I want the questions. I want them to ask me the questions.
That's great. And when I'm out and about, I use the natural Kr8tom tablets. It's not the 7OH, but there are a few companies that do sell those. And when I discovered those years ago, I'm like, oh my God, I can just like have that when I'm out and about instead of trying to do the powder. And
It's
since
convenient.
and I don't do toss and wash. So I'm like, the swamp water tea, which means I'd have to make it and
Yeah.
bring it with me and have some kind of juice or something because I'm not drinking that by itself.
The
Like I have to
gummies are helpful too. You've used the gummies. I think there's
Well,
some gummies that you've had recently that I've tried as well that were pretty decent.
yeah, it's these EXP gummies I like, but they're low
Yep.
dose. I don't
Mhm.
I don't ever do anything like any kind of extract by itself because
Yeah.
this is the only one that's helped me. But
Mhm.
it's just been in addition to because I get so much benefit from ingesting the leaf powder. Like
Yeah.
I've tried brewing it and it just doesn't work on me. And so
Same.
I gotta ingest it. I do my 2 teaspoons every 6 hours. It's what works. But when I try to do something to replace it, it doesn't work. But the whole leaf tablets are great because it's literally the powder pressed into a tablet. So it's just easy for on the go. So I always have some in my car.
And it lasts you the same. The tablet, does it actually last about the same as your powder dose?
It
Does it
does.
take any different longer to kick
Not for
in
me.
everything? Oh, I'm gonna have to get that
It
info from you.
it works really well for me. Yeah, I like the ones from Super Speciosa. I was doing the Etha botanical tablets, but Super Speciosa has them too, and they're a little bit cheaper. And they work amazing for me. Now, of course, it varies from person to person, just FYI. But with my personal experience, I can take the equivalent amount of my powder with the tablets. It works very fast for me, just like the powder does. I get the same amount of 6-hour pain relief. I'm just blown away. It costs a little bit more to have pressed tablets, but for me, it's worth it. I just watch for sales. That's the key. Watch for
Oh
sales.
yeah, yeah.
There's some big Black Friday sales going on right now. I meant to show that. I'll show that before we wrap up. So I just keep some in my car, or I just make sure they're on me anytime I leave home because, you know, for those of us that come from pain management, I'm sure some of y'all remember, like, make sure I got all my meds with me. You gotta make sure wherever I go, like because you don't want to be suffering. It's not for me, it wasn't even kind of an addiction thing. It was, I don't want to be caught somewhere that is out of the ordinary. And all of a sudden I can't medicate myself. So I'm not suffering with pain and I wouldn't even be able to move. And let me tell you, the tablets came in. I tell you the experience I had where it's like, I got to start carrying tablets with me or have them in my car is I went to an ER unexpectedly. Well, no, the first time was, no, okay. The first time since Kr8tom when I went to the ER is because I had appendicitis, but you don't know you have appendicitis until you're at the hospital for them to tell you that's what it is. That's what's wrong with you. So I didn't have anything with me. I had taken my Kr8tom that afternoon, and then I'm like, I'd been suffering all day. I knew something was wrong, and go to the urgent care. No, you need to go to like where you need to go somewhere else that can take care of you. They weren't sure what it was yet, but it was like the low end urgent care. They said you need to go to a better urgent care that can do more than we can. So I go to the higher end urgent care, and they're like, you need to go to the ER. And this was like an all afternoon experience, right? So by the time I get to the ER, like the big hospital ER, it's now late at night. And it took forever to get the CT scan when everything was said and done. Yes, you have appendicitis. I didn't have Kr8tom with me. I didn't think this is where I was going to end up. I ended up being in the hospital for like 2 nights. It was crazy. Thank God for Kr8tom after that. But then one time I went to the ER. This was since finding the tablets that I always keep on me and when I'm out and about. And I went to the ER unexpectedly one day. I was there for half a day. And I just remember being in the waiting room going, I'm due for my Kr8tom, and I can just sit here in this waiting room and take my tablets with my water, and I'm not going to be suffering because I didn't think to bring it, or I have my powder, but how am I going to consume powder? And I don't toss and wash. How am I going to do this in an ER waiting room? And it was like, oh, thank God I had those with me. And of course, once I got seen by the doctor, I just made sure they knew I do suffer from degenerative disc disease. They didn't care. They don't care. They're not going to do anything to help me with that. They just want to, whatever your immediate issue was. And I just thought, man, I did not have to worry about that. Because when I went for the appendicitis, I was suffering by the time I got admitted. I was in so much pain, in addition to the appendicitis pain, which is a lot of pain. But I mean, I was just suffering with the back and neck. And luckily, when you're at the ER for a painful condition, you don't have to really worry about, by the way, I'm a chronic pain patient, so please help me with this. Like, you don't have to worry about that, because they were going to give me IV medication anyway because of that abdominal pain. But I just learned to be prepared. I think it's smart to be prepared. That's my takeaway on that.
Yeah, I always have something with me. I mean, for a little while, there was like these little, like, mitt strips that were going around, you just put the strip on your tongue. And I did grab a little of those. And for me, like, if I am out and I can't like stop to dose, like say I'm like, out at a concert or whatever, you know what I'm saying? I can't stop to dose powder. I'll have that, kind of like through, hey, I'm just going to get you through it. And usually, it's like a little bit of a mint extract, or, which would be great was those Kr8tom tablets you're talking about. That way I can just easily, because sometimes you never know, like if, you're out and about and you're moving around, sometimes our pain creeps up on us quicker than what usually would be, where sometimes, I can dose, once or twice a day. And other times I've dosed up to 6 times a day. It all depends on what I'm physically doing. So it's nice. I'm going to I'll get all that info from you, because I know you got a good link for that one too, Madeline. So I'll get that, and I'll be grabbing some of those tablets.
Yeah, they're really good. Let me show you all my vendors page real quick where I have that, because I know people always ask me about that. Plus, there's a lot of big Black Friday sales going on right now. So if you go to my website, kr8tomstoriespodcast.com/vendor, or you can just get to it on the navigation on there. Let me put up a link on that. Okay, take that off for a second. Okay. So what I did is I took all the Black Friday sales going on right now and put it at the top here. But like, I have the list of all the brands that I personally have researched, that I buy my Kr8tom from. I like to just rotate different brands. That's what's always worked for me. But let's see, the tablets with Super Speciosa, what they're doing right now is the more you spend, the bigger the savings with their code here through the 28th. That one ended at midnight. Yeah, that was yesterday. Okay, never. Although I know they're having a sale, so just go to their website. But also, I know Ethan Botanical sells those tablets too, and they're on the list here, 25% off of code Kr8tom Stories. But there's a lot of great sales going on right now anyway, so definitely recommend at least just, bookmark my website there where all that information's at if you want to go check that out. Microphone, there it goes. I'll put in the ticker too. I'll just leave that ticker running. But yeah, tablets have been a lifesaver for me. You know what I forgot to do today? Do you want me to do the thing I tried last week with the Madeline's favorite products this week? I know y'all were all saying y'all liked that last time. You want me to do that real quick? All right, let me pull everything off screen. Hold on, I'll just put me on for a second, because this is a Madeline thing. I don't want anybody to feel like y'all all support any of the brands. They're all on that vendors page. But let me tell you what, actually, these are not just what I'm liking this week, but what I'm liking today. I mentioned last week the Super Speciosa Camo is this new high mint green. This is one of my favorites right now. So yeah, this one's what's powering me today. And then for my afternoon after this live stream, my Happy Hippo Green Borneo. Love these higher mint greens that some of these companies are selling that I really like, because they work really well on me and my personal experience. And then I'm also liking this week, of course I would drop it, hold on. I'm very klutzy. Okay. Also this week, Taunton Bay. I'm loving y'all Super Green, Becca. The Super Green, really, really good. And then, of course, I keep talking about those EXP gummies. And that reminds me. So EXP has a big sale. Hold on, let me put the right thing on here so y'all can go check this out. Huge sale right now. I know a lot of y'all been telling me you want to try these. They're doing their big sale Black Friday, buy one, get one free, of all the EXP brand of the powder, the gummies and stuff. And it's such a good deal, because sadly gummies are not cheap. What they say you do is, when you take advantage of this, is you put 2 items in your cart, 2 EXP product items in your cart, and then it will make one of them free. So just passing along information because that's what I do. Yeah, so let me bring y'all back up. Anyway, my stuff for this week, but I'm really impressed with that Super Specioso. When I saw that was on their website recently, this new high mint green, I'm like, oh, I gotta try that. And I have not been disappointed at all. I'm really impressed. I just really like higher mint greens. That's like my thing. Anybody want to share any? Like, you don't have to mention brands if you don't want. Does anybody else like higher mint greens? They're fantastic.
I like a higher mint product myself. Yeah, I mean, I think, and I have seen this a lot. Working, as customer service, I have a lot of people saying I need a higher mint. This one helps best on my pain, and that seems to be, really well with a lot of people. I mean, I like the higher mint reds. I like the higher mint greens. Those are where it's at for me. So I mean, it seems a lot of people agree.
Yeah, it's interesting how reds are typically the lower mint, and I think that's why they don't work well on my pain. But of course, everybody says red's so great for sleep and relaxing. But I've been trying some higher mint reds, and there's some interesting ones that are pretty high mint for a red. So I'll just add some to my usual nighttime green just to see. And so far, it's been okay. I mean, it's not helping me sleep any better, but I'm always
no reds make me tired. Not even like the fermented, ones that would, and of course, they're all just, marketing names. We all know it's just the way it's dried,
Right.
but I'll go with like a red, we just call it bent versus, the bent Tuange or whatever it is, or the Sumatra or the Hulu. Those are the ones that I've been dabbling with, and everybody knows I'm at Wonderland, and that's where, that's where a lot of my like darker reds come from, and that tends to hit well for me on my pain, but then I'll go to like Jordan and I do like the, the Hula Koopas, or Kapawas or however it's said, because I can't pronounce half of these names, and his is, it's not even a very dark red, but that thing works so good for me. Like that's a really good one. And it's, and then I've got stuff from Taunton Bay. I've got stuff from Happy Hippo, like I don't, just because I'm working for a vendor, and even the vendor I work for, we buy products from many vendors. We support our family. That's what we do. We all work together, we support each other, we all rally together, and I'm really, I think we really need to get something going, is another big rally at DC.
Yes,
we need to get it going, and maybe we can
Definitely
talk with some people,
I would
because
love that.
I mean, I had talked with with the AKA about it a while ago and got nowhere. They went up on the hill and they did their hill day. I mean, I think you were there for that. You were there, at the hill day.
I was there, yeah.
And that was the last. Like, we were supposed to be doing something after, we were all going to be up there, to do another big rally. Like, you were there, Becca, you were there, you met Brandon, and you guys all like rallied, and we need to do another one. I think it would be very beneficial for our entire community to come together and show up, because we need to be heard. We need to be heard,
Absolutely.
I agree.
It also solidified like our community bond going to these
Yes.
things,
we are here to protect all alkaloids of the plant, that's because if we don't protect all the alkaloids, they're gonna take it. And it's a language thing, so we have to watch. The word ban, it's terrifying. It stops all studies, and I mean, they're already studying, some of the alkaloids of this plant for withdrawal, for opioid withdrawal, so it can be a pharmaceutical. So take that information with what you will. If they want it, is it really that bad for us?
Right.
So it's like, that's kind of where my thoughts are with both, Kratom and 7.0, because they're studying both. They're studying both 7 and MIT right now.
Yeah.
And I find, back in the day, remember, everybody had the Ziplocs and Sharpies, and at that moment, that was fine, because that's how it started. And, we were, there was garage vendors and this and everything, but then it was us as a community that started holding vendors responsible. And I think in order to do something now with this ban, us as a community need to rally together. No more, one side against another. We need everybody as a whole rallying together, or we are all going to lose this plant that is helping us, whether it be the extract or not. We are going to lose it if we don't stick together.
Yeah. Great point. That's Christopher, by the way, medicinal plant education, because he lost his YouTube account.
Oh, did he? Dang.
Yeah. Real quick, Lori's asking what's the highest mid. So the highest mid I've come across has been the Super Specioso Camo. It is 1.64. They have it on the, let's see if I can get that right up there.
I've seen a 1.7, I think it was like a 7.1 or 7.2 for the highest I've seen. And I was like, oh,
that's
and
a pretty high one.
Yeah, we had a high one. It was a little while ago, but we had a high one at Wonderland, and I'm like, save some for me. Let me get that. Yeah, and I mean that one sold out quick, and it's gone. It's gone.
Well, I have discount codes on my website, over on the podcast website, with for all of the different companies that I use myself and recommend. So if anybody's looking to save some money, and a lot of these companies are having Black Friday sales right now too. So this is a good time to take advantage of when they do these, because some companies only do this kind of sale once a year. But yeah, I think we'll wrap up. Brandon, I'm the same way. Kratom does not help me sleep. I wish it did.
Yeah, me too.
When people talk about that, I'm like, oh, lucky. Lucky.
Yeah. Anybody that talks about sleep, I say lucky you.
Yeah.
Yep.
Exactly.
For me.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for hanging out today. And Amanda, great having you back with us again.
Thanks for having me. You know me, I'll be here as often as you need me and often as I can. Anything that I can do to help you guys and help our family, because that's just what we do. That's what we do. We help our community and we help our family.
Yeah, 100%. For sure.
Yep.
Sure. And Becca, always great having you here with us.
I know, it's so good to see your face. I miss you. I got to come up and see you guys. I got to come up to Maine.
Yes, holla at your girl.
Will do.
I love this. I think we'll close out with "Living the Kratom Life." A little bit more of a chill song, but such. I know Becca's always like doing her jamming, but this one's a little bit more slow jamming. Although I like going to the other song, and you're just like, you're doing your bum, bum, bum. So cute. Yeah. Okay. Well, y'all have a great rest of your day and weekend and all that good stuff. And anytime I'm feeling just kind of crappy, I always feel better when I come here with you all. Y'all always make me feel better.
Oh, me too.
It's always nice.
Yeah, rest up. Everybody take care of yourselves, because everybody's going through it right now, both physically and mentally. So lean on your friends, lean on us, lean on each other, because everybody's going through it right now. Physically, mentally, we're all going through it. So lean on someone. Remember, there's always someone there that's willing to help.
Yeah. And come to the support group tomorrow at 3 Eastern.
Yes. Yeah, over on school. We're always on school Thursdays and Sundays. Private chat in there. So anybody's able to come hang out with us. All right, y'all. So we'll be back over here next Saturday to do this again. Oh, and for the podcast, we normally do the podcast premiere once a week, normally on Thursdays, except for when it's a holiday. But because I was in YouTube jail for 2 weeks, I'm still playing catch up. And like we did Jordan's episode, even though it's out, we did the YouTube version this week. And then the only one that hasn't gone on YouTube yet is Caden Bradway, who was in the live chat yesterday when we were watching Amanda's episode. It was great seeing him back, because he hadn't been in the chats for a while. So his episode, which is a great episode, 18 years old with EDS. I mean, what a story he has, but at least he got diagnosed, because I know a lot of people, it takes a long time to get diagnosed. It took a while for him to get diagnosed, but he has an amazing story of how Kratom has helped him, and such a great guy. So we're going to premiere his episode. Venus, did we pick a day? I think I was thinking like Tuesday. I don't know. If you subscribe to this channel, you will know when we're doing it.
Yep.
I think I'm going to put it up later or tomorrow. But yeah, so his episode will come out, and then our usual Thursday. And next week, the Thursday episode is going to be Dan Pita from Mitrospec. His wife, Sarah Pita, was on recently. Great husband and wife team of building this amazing Kratom business that's been around a long time. And like a family. It's so great. And they're both real active in our school community as well at Kratom Real Talk. So if anybody's not over at Kratom Real Talk, reminds me, I should put that banner up. KratomRealTalk.com. Come hang out with us there. I know everybody's frustrated with Facebook right now. We are all sick of Facebook and how they treat us. This is a better alternative. There's no censorship. And it's very simple to use, very much like a Facebook group.
And we definitely have freedom.
Yeah. But freedom comes with a price. I pay for us to have it, but it's worth it for me. It is worth it for me to spend the money every month. So we have a home where there's no censorship. I'm in charge, and I say, if you want to come talk about Kratom, positive, of course. We're not an addiction support group. There's other ones for that out there, but for our positive experience with Kratom, this is the place to go, and I love hosting that for everybody. So we have, at least we always. I mean, social media is still great. It's still a great way to connect, but we need a place where we don't have to worry about censorship because it's not right. And I have some unboxing videos I don't think I can put them on social media because I've been trying to put them on TikTok. They took them down. YouTube really does not let me do it anymore at all. That's why I keep getting in trouble with them. They don't even though it's not promotional, they're so strict. So I think stuff like this will only be on school.
Yeah, I've had a couple TikTok videos, that I had, just sitting there going through bags, nothing else, gone.
Yeah, it's gotten so much worse in the past few months.
Mm-hmm.
So much. I thought things would get better since the FDA did their whole big thing in July. Leaf is fine. Leaf is fine. We're only going after 708. I thought, okay, well, maybe things will get better for us talking about leaf kratom. And it's gotten worse.
It really has. We're still dealing with, the shipping issues still. Why hasn't it been lifted? There's just so much their words aren't matching their actions right now.
Yeah, exactly. And we can't keep letting them blame the government shutdown. The government's not in shutdown anymore. So stop making that the excuse.
Oh gosh, and this was before the shutdown that we've been dealing with this. So I mean, was it COVID or, it's always been something, it's always something.
But I brought it up when AKA did their last webinar and, Max said, well, government's been shut down.
They kind of dance around a lot of stuff lately too, though. So it's frustrating.
Yeah. Well, we definitely need more people advocating and banding together and fighting together because we need as many voices out there as possible. You can't just leave it to the few. So
we do. We need more people out there. We need more people showing up. We need people attending, even if it's just online via Zoom. Like Venus and I do it in multiple states. It's not that hard to sit on a call and help your fellow states around you, because if one state goes, it's a domino effect, and it's gonna follow. I mean, Massachusetts is right next to me. That's scary. All these places around me and all the places that I live, California, where family is. I'm like, okay, well, where am I going to go? Where am I going? I'm not going there, but where am I going? It's tough. It's tough.
Yeah. We just need a system that makes it easier for people to participate in things like that. But if they're working or doing things where they can't just sit there for hours and hours waiting to be called, what would be a solution to help get their voice on there? But
like a text alert, it's time now.
Yeah.
Kratom's being talked about now.
Believe me, I've been thinking up of things. So we need to have easier ways to do this because not everybody is available with their schedule to do that, but there's got to be a way. So, yeah. Well, thank you so much for hanging out. So much fun today.
Thank you, everybody.
Yeah,
everybody be safe. Take care of yourself and each other.
Yeah. All right. Let's close out with living the Kratom life.
Woke up today feeling light. Grab my blend, ready for flight. Green mango, it's my start. Red barley to calm my heart. From dawn to dusk, I'm feeling free. With every leaf from the Kr8tom tree, I take my dose, I feel alive. Yeah, I'm living the Kr8tom life. Oh, I'm living the Kr8tom life. So wild, every day I'm feeling revived. Castles packed with nature's glow. Herbal realm, you already know. White vein when I need the drive. It's Power that makes me thrive. Mix it up, I found my way. Living the Kr8tom life every day. From dawn to dusk, I'm feeling free. With every leaf from the Kr8tom tree, I take my dose, I feel alive. Yeah, I'm living the Kr8tom life. Oh, I'm living the Kr8tom life. So wild, every day I'm feeling revived. Capsules packed with nature's glow. Herbal realm, you already know. You already know. When the day is long, I feel the strain. I know that Kr8tom eases the pain. So I take my blend and I rise. With herbal realm, I touch the skies. Oh, I'm living the Kr8tom life. So wild, every day I'm feeling revived. Capsules packed with nature's glow. Herbal realm, you already know. Yeah, I'm living the Kr8tom life. Ooh, 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 ooh. When the day is long, I feel the strain. I know that Kr8tom eases